So this is the figure that, of all the figures I've ever wanted, this was the one that got away. And I called it another video my white whale. There's other figures I've missed out on, but this was the one I really wanted. This is the 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton. So it finally came in the mail, came in yesterday. And not everything I was hoping for. So here's some pictures from some promotional pictures of it. And I'll tell you what, that looks like it could be a movie still. These pictures are pretty incredible. But I think they're a bit deceptive. And I don't want to come down too hard on Mezco because I get the fact that this is a bit of a problem in this suit. So you could see in the movie that it was a thick rubber suit. With the famously the neck. Michael Keaton had no sideways movement in his neck. And if you're trying to recreate this in a 1/12 scale, that's going to be quite a challenge. So the figure was, okay, so let me start with the fact that the head is held on by magnets, which is awesome. I like that. Now the first problem, and I kind of manipulated the cape a little bit. It's got wires in there. And so let's have him without. So that looks pretty cool. There's definitely a gap in there between his cowl piece and his costume. His costume, this was what I noticed immediately. So the costume in there looks very dark. The costume here looks kind of charcoal. It's lighter, and it looks almost ashy in appearance. Things stick to it constantly. It is a very soft, almost spongy material, and it will definitely restrict articulation. So if I it doesn't really want to bend. Now it will bend if I bring it up. So there, it will hold its position, but it definitely, and see, we already have a little bit of, let's see. Well, I guess that's okay. That's just part of the costume. Sorry, I thought that was a crease, but I see that's just the design. Michael Keaton was a comedian, not a bodybuilder or action star. So they did a lot of. They have some very thick padding on there with all the muscles added in, and so the articulation on this is going to be not very good. And quite frankly, I would not put this in any kind of position because I have no doubt that a crease would form if you had it in anything but a neutral position. The belt is a separate piece, entirely separate. The boots, they're never separate on these figures, but they are separate in the sense that these are plastic and not the rubber of the costume. I think that the facial sculpt on this is probably the best I've ever seen on a Mezco figure. And I like the fact that, when he wears the cowl, Michael Keaton had black makeup around the eyes, and so you can see it there. Although there's one funny scene where his cowl is removed and he doesn't have that, because he would have raccoon eyes if he did. All of a sudden the black makeup is gone. He's got 3 alternate heads. So we have, what is it? It looks like a lazy eye. Okay. This is the one where the eyes will move. Okay. So why does it look like it's not doing it properly? Anyway, I'm not going to demonstrate it, but it has movable eyes. And this one here, he's got the scratch on his face, which was at the end of the movie after his jet crashed. So here we have a little bit different expression, slightly different from the one that comes with it. His mouth is a little bit open here, a little bit of teeth. But I think for a 1/12 scale, these are really, 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 really nice facial sculpts. So the other issue with this figure, and it's a great figure, but the issue is, wow, that is a good strong magnet. I'll give him credit. Put the cape on, So the cape it's a very kind of a thick, I guess it's plastic there. So we lay that on top as best I can. The magnet sticks very well, but we have now even more gapping in there. And you can't really see that in these photos and the promotional photos. And I don't know what they did so that it wouldn't have gapping, but they clearly did something. So that's a little bit deceptive. And the cape really covers his body. Now I was able to, there's wires in here, and I was able to kind of pull it to the side. So you can do that. I'm almost thinking about well, I don't know. It really splays out here. See how it really is. Now, if I go into promotional pics from the movie, you could see his cape lays down very flat. Okay, so I get that, because it is very hard to produce material in a 1/12 scale to mimic something on a full-size human. I get that. So that is always kind of a problem, even to a degree on 1/6 scale, is that to have fabric react the same on a 1/12 scale as it does in a full-size human being is very difficult to do. So the cape should, now the cape does kind of, when it's laying down on Batman 1989, yeah, it covers a lot of his costume, but the cape should just kind of like correctly drape down and maybe expose a little bit. But again, it's, this is kind of a bit of a, I wouldn't say heavy, but it's not light, not a light material. So I don't know, should I display this without the cape? That would be disappointing if I did that. So this figure comes with a ridiculous amount of extras. All right, so we have, this was, I believe, from the museum scene. We have spear gun and hook, wire, collapsible spear gun, gauntlet. We have, this is the kind of the tip of the harpoon. There's the collapsible spear gun. There's another spear gun. We have 4 batarangs. We have 6 alternate hands, three pairs of hands. There are so many extras that on here. Well, wait a second. It's not even showing everything. Spear gun with hook and wire. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. This looks like a shuriken here. I don't know what that is. Gauntlet and time bomb. So maybe that's the time bomb. Or maybe that's the time bomb. I don't know. And then we have a little something here. I don't know what that is. We have some kind of, I guess, with a batarang with wire. So there's a ton of extras, and they'll stay in a box forever, because I'll pose this with the rest of my figures and just ignore all of these, because I don't know what people do with them. I don't know if people, I have no idea if they put them in there, because they have the hands to hold it, but I mean, you can do all sorts of poses and things. So for instance, let's see here. Okay, so there he is with his harpoon gun. And so that's basically kind of duplicating what is in, well, let's see. So there's the scene. There's the scene from the movie, and then they're kind of duplicating it. It looks really good. It looks so good. So you could do that. You could pose them like that. I'm not going to pose them because, again, with that costume, I'm afraid that it's going to create a permanent crease. So I'm not going to do that. I'll have to rewatch the movie. It's been a while since I watched it. The 1989 Batman was really one of the biggest Hollywood events for me of my lifetime, and it really was. If you're not old enough to remember when it first came out, it was huge, absolutely huge. The box is nice and compact. Mezco has reduced the size of their boxes, so if you look at these promotional pics, it's hard to tell. Is that from the movie, or is that? I know that this is the figure, but it looks super accurate. Does not look quite as good, I think, in person, but I think it still looks really good. And I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, it really looks kind of dark gray rather than the blackish there. I'm disappointed with the figure, but I don't regret getting it at all. I'll probably pose him next to my 1978 Superman, and I think it looks really neat on the shelf. Whether it's exactly what I was hoping for, no, it's not. But I get the problems that Mezco has with this one because it is a challenging figure, and I think that's probably why I don't think they. I think superhero movies went away from this rubber suit, and after I think Batman 2 or whatever, they stopped doing this kind of suit, and particularly with the cowl, which is completely restrictive. So anyway, that's Batman 1989. I get that there's problems, but I think Mezco did a really good job. And I know that other figure makers have made this figure, but I like the authenticity of Mezco and their soft goods. So anyway, 1989 Batman.